Well, good morning, pre-algebra guys. Just want to do a quick video for today's instruction, but as always, we got to start off with a joke. So here's the joke. Why wouldn't the shrimp share his treasure? Why wouldn't the shrimp share his treasure? Well, that's because he was being a little shellfish. That's right. Alright, so today we are still looking at proportions. We're talking about comparisons in size. We're going to be looking at different shapes now. So I am on page 306, so that's where I am at if you want to get there too and follow along. Otherwise, just watch the video and take what I do to what you're going to do for your assignment today. So I'm going to just be following along the example problems on 306, and hopefully this should be just about 8 minutes. Okay, so we're going to take information that we know that from what we see about two images and make a ratio and compare them, and it should look very similar. So we're going to look at the first example problem, problem A on page 306, and it looks something different. My triangles are a different shape, but the same idea. So we have 6 and we have 4 centimeters. Alright, and then on the other triangle, we're trying to find x, and we are given 12. Mine are messed up. Mine are backwards. Well, please just go with it, okay? Alright. So, really, it's the other way around. I'm sorry. I should have looked at this before I wrote. But, we're going to compare. So, we know that these triangles have the same angles, right? Even though one's smaller, they do have the same angles. And because they have the same angles, we can then create these ratios. This would not work if they had different angles. So maybe keep an eye out. I don't think they'll be tricky like that, but something to just keep in mind. They have to have the same angles in order to make these kind of comparisons. That is really important. So if we're looking at triangles or a different shape, make sure they have the same angles all the way around. Okay, then we just set up our problem just like our proportion. So we are going to look at 6 first. So we're going to do the smaller one and then the bigger one. So for example here, 6 centimeters is supposedly the same size as x, okay, because they relate to each other. Now we're also going to write 4 is the equivalent to 12 because they're both on the bottom. Alright, and then that's your similar, you should know exactly how to do this by now. So we cross multiply. We got 4x equals 6 times 12, which is 60 plus 12, 72. And we divide both sides by 4, and x ends up equaling 18. Come on, you can do it! 18. Really ugly 18. Okay? So let's do one of the other example problems. Just make sure we got it down. Let me get our triangles here, and let me make sure we got the right sizes. So we'll do our big one here. Oh, we're not doing a triangle. Get rid of that. Get out of here. Let's see, what shape are we doing? Doing a parallelogram. But for my sake, we're just going to make it a square. Alright, we got the square of that size, big one, and then we got a little bit smaller one. What is going on? There we go. Okay, so we are given, let's look at 1A at the bottom. So we're given 5 centimeters on the top of the small one. That's a 5. And I'm looking at 1A. It's on the bottom of 306. 5, and then B centimeters. And on the bigger one below it, we have 30. And then on the side is 24. So remember, when we make our ratios, we're comparing sizes. So for example, we'll start with the 5. we have 5 over compares to 30 equals B, which compares to 24. Okay, so ratio problem, set it up. We have 30B equals 5 times 24. Oh gosh. That is, well, 5 times 25 is 125, so it should be 120. My calculator, can I reach it from here? Double check. 5 times 24 equals 120. Good. So now 120 divided by 3, 30, equals 4. So we end up getting B equals 4, and that goes right here. Now just kind of thinking about that, does that make sense? Yeah, I'd say like generally 30 and is, you know, about the same way as it is from 5 to 4. So we got to make sure that we add in the right units. Okay, centimeters. Where's our time at? 6 minutes, 15 seconds. Doing okay. All right, so you got to get the process. Think about how you had to make those different drawings. This is very similar. You're talking about a big size going to a smaller size. But here we're just looking at shapes. All right, let's do 1B, because this one could be tricky. I want to make sure we do a tricky problem. So we are looking at a triangle, and I'm going to try my best to copy it. So bear with me. So we got a long one, jagged cuts down, something like that. And then we have it placed differently, and this one's a little bit bigger. Okay, so here's the important thing. We need to check our sides. So you see how they have these rings? So those rings show that they're the same angles. So let's copy those down. 1, 1, and then this side has 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is significant because it's going to show us which sides go with which. So at the top we have 10, 4, and 7. This is 10, this one's 4, and 7. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to write centimeters, but you should. And we're trying to find this side, and we know that this one is 14. Okay, so as always, we're going to start with our smaller one on this side. Alright, so but we kind of have to invert it. So if you can in your mind, imagine flipping it. And if you're not so good with that, look at the lines. So we want to compare, we know we want to use this 14. So we're looking between the 2, see how these have 2, and this one has 3. So we need to look for this one between 2 and 3. So that would be 7. So I know one of mine is going to be 7 over 14 equals, now let's look at A. We're looking between the 1 and the 2. So let's look for 1 and 2. So we have the 1 and we have the 2. So it would be 4. So we use the small one. I used the small one first. So we need to keep that trend. 4 over A. Okay? So that's important. Look for your similar angles. Remember, like I said, they have to have the same angles or this process won't work. Okay, so let's solve this. We have 7A equals 4 times 14, which is 56. And 56 divided by 7 equals 8. So A equals 8 centimeters. And let me double check to make sure I am correct. And I am correct. Okay? So if you have any further questions, remember always you can play back the video, raise your hand, ask for help. You could ask a friend. You know, you guys are working towards this. Work hard, you know, achieve, do your best. Let me know if you need help. Otherwise, I will see you in real life.